So let me jump into what it is. So what we studied, it's a snapshot. Okay, we just looked today in 2020 at the companies that exist in what we define as a clean tech and climate tech, which I'll define for you in a minute. And we looked at some very basic questions, like where are they headquarters, what business sectors are they in, when were they founded, how much funding do they have, how many patents do they have, what is their intellectual property position. And then we also looked at the leaders of these companies. By leaders, I mean the founders, as well as some of the top management, the C-suite, and a few others. And we were able to identify gender diversity, ethnic diversity, and their education. All of this is based on some very important public databases. Crunchbase is the main one, but we amended this with data from other places. And we did a lot of manual work, a lot of sorting, cleaning, and visualization, which is done by the students that I just talked to about in a minute. So we'll go through each one of these segments in passing, and I will present basically the data, and I think Alistair will have a lot of wisdom to add. So I think the bottom line from what we see here is what I mentioned already, that climate change is everybody's business. And we find that that is expressed in the fact that it is many sectors that are involved in trying to create some sort of response and solution to climate change. And we also find that there is an increasing diversity in the leadership, starting from a small base. So there's a lot to work to be done before we can say that climate change really is everybody's business. You'll see that today. So we have a series of visualizations for you here. This is a map that basically shows where the companies are headquartered. And what you see here is a dumbbell shape, Boston, New York. This is very much a Boston, New York corridor kind of activity. The states that you see here are the ones that we chose for our study, which is, we call it the Northeast, which is the New England states plus New York. And really the majority, 80 to 90% of the companies are in urban areas, mostly in the Boston area and in New York. These companies are relatively small. That doesn't mean their impact is small, but most of them are under 50 people. And altogether, though, when you add it all up, including some that are a little larger, there are about 15,000 people involved in the actual startup community. Obviously, that doesn't include all of the people who are installing solar and a ripple effect in the economy from climate technology. There are about almost 500 companies in our database. So this is what we're going to look at. Alistair, is this a familiar map for you? I know this is your playground in terms of the NECEC.
Well, it is, but let me first just say it's been a real pleasure partnering with you, Ben, on this project and with your students. I think for us, we're trying to grow the clean economy in the Northeast, and we thought we had, a reasonable sense of what was going on. But this study has really given us a new lens, a new perspective to view what's happening out there. So really pleased to be exposed to this, and hopefully, as you said, we can inspire more people to join in. I think what I see in this map, as you said, yeah, definitely two sort of dumbbells there. We've got a partner in Boston or Cambridge, Massachusetts, the Cambridge Innovation Center, and their sort of theory is innovation comes from proximity, right? So you've got so much going on in the Boston, the New York hubs, and that is based on that theory. But I think also because of digital technology, now innovation can happen in many other places. This is being encouraged too by the economic development agencies in New York and Massachusetts, but also the other states in the region. And you can see that. There's incubators in places where there are universities in Buffalo, in Syracuse, Rochester, Binghamton, Springfield in Massachusetts, up in University of Maine in Maine, et cetera. So that's what I see here is the reasons for it, as well as just what I feel when I'm in Boston and New York. So it's exciting to see it spread out as well.
Well, thank you, Alistair. And it's always good to hear that what we find in the data resonates with reality. So thank you for that vote. Let me show you now the sectors that we included. And this is a chart which is basically the area of each block represents the number of companies in each sector. And you see the classic sectors: energy generation, energy distribution, and then you see some other ones that you may or may not have thought about as being clean tech. And in fact, what we find is that there is a core to this whole ecosystem that is, if you want to call it clean energy, and I'll show that to you here. I blanked out the rest. So what you see here is energy generation, distribution, storage, efficiency, building and grid efficiency. Those are really the core areas with some information technology used in the same purpose. At the same time, there are additional areas which we highlight now, which include agriculture, materials, chemicals, transportation, of course, and much more information technology, analytics, which in a way has been added in a way to this, and therefore we call this total group climate tech, rather than clean energy per se. So it's a broader, more expansive view of what the activity is. Alistair, does this expansion jive with reality, or did we play a little data trick for you here?
No, I think it absolutely, it's been a sort of recent realization on my part. You know, I was an engineer in the energy business, and so my blinkers were on for many years, you know, forced on me by my job at APC and Schneider Electric. So I saw the kind of energy storage part first. And NECEC just focuses on the clean energy part. But we're also the affiliate for the Cleantech Open in the Northeast. So we run that accelerator, and they actually have ag companies, water companies, materials companies, etc. So I have been exposed to it. I hadn't realized how big some of these sectors were, and this is what I'm impressed by. The other thing I think what is happening in the region is that the state energy, state economic development authorities, NYSERDA, MassCC, have been very focused on energy, and now realizing that we need to get to net zero, they're looking at where do emissions happen, and there's a lot in agriculture. So that's another reason why I think there's more of this happening, even though, you know, your analysis shows it's been happening all the time. It's going to expand.
Right. So thank you again. That's good that it resonates. I'll show you how it grew over time, which is the next chart. So this chart shows you the founding dates of the companies in our database. Again, all the companies are active in 2020, but they were founded many years before. And I think what you see here, first I will warn you that the last couple of years, don't be too panicked about the sharp drop there. That is an artifact of the data itself, because when we collect data, we look for companies that have had some traction, that have had revenue, funding, or some major evidence that they are in business and not just an idea. And so ideas come early, and then it takes a while to, in a way, enter our database. So the last 2 or 3 years, we need to do more research in the next future years to really know what's going on there. But what we do see is an increase from about 2005 until somewhere around 2010, which is very fast. And then after that, let's call it a robust, sustained number of companies formed every year. 40, 50 companies are formed every year in this field, but it's a little bit up and down. And Alistair, has it been a bumpy ride the last decade? How would you read this chart?
I think it's been bumpy and just tough. I mean, innovation in clean energy takes a long time because it's a regulated industry, and you know, some of the customers, being the utilities, just take a long time to prove things out before they trust it on their grids. So that's the story you hear: 7 to 10 years to get a startup, you know, to full commercialization. I think there's been political cycles too, which have meant sort of an ebb and flow of investment and support in policies. And then, you know, after the crash, whenever it was, 2008, 2009, there was a kind of lag, but that certainly left a few investors burned out and not wanting to be in clean tech. Yeah. And so you see that perhaps as a couple of years later. Yeah. So yes, it's been bumpy.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about the clean tech 1.0 and 2.0 and 3.0, and we might well be in 3.0. And I guess anecdotally, what I hear is that things seem to be turning very recently, like that there is additional funding and additional excitement, and obviously a policy framework that is renewed at this point. So as I said, that last downturn may well turn right back up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we see the sort of global policy kicking back in, US getting back into the Paris Accord. That's all very positive. But I think last year saw a huge shift in money looking to invest in sort of clean tech, and that's growing all the time. The last thing I'd say is, you know, we did a study with the IN2 program at NREL, one of the national labs, earlier this year. No, it was last year actually. And they were worried about the lack of a pipeline in innovation in clean tech. And the big story out of that, which was a national study, was that, hey, the pipeline's still healthy. So you will see it back up.
Very good. We'll talk about that pipeline. I have some more information about what's coming in a way. The next slide is actually the opposite side of the pipeline. These are what you might call exits from a investor point of view. These are the liquidity events. These are either acquisitions or public offerings, IPOs, that companies have had over the period of time. There are about 60 of them altogether. I'm not sure that's a large or a small number. There is a core group. The blue ones are energy distribution. The yellow ones are energy generation. So again, the core clean energy parts are in a way proceeding to a mature stage of being acquired by a strategic partner or going public. I should say that this is no longer in our snapshot. We take them out once they have become part of a Schneider Electric or part of Emerson or something like that. Alistair, this is the exit. Does that look reasonable to you that we've had these turnovers?
Yeah, and again, that in my mind, the sort of feeds I'm getting on information, there's been a steady drumbeat of M&A. I wasn't so aware of many IPOs. So that's kind of interesting to see that. And then I think, been aware of at least one SPAC. One of our members, Excel, did a SPAC at the end of last year. But I think you'll see a lot more of those coming. So yes, it sort of resonates, but it's opened up as this new lens thing. It's just shown me there's more than I was aware of.
Excellent. Any ecosystem, of course, the health of the ecosystem depends on inflow, the pipeline that you talked about, as well as outflow. And so, in a way, this is an important segment of that too. So we see that continued activity. This is a pipeline question.
And the other thing I wanted to add to that is, one of the key things about this region which makes it healthy like that is the presence of a lot of big global energy companies, many of them from Europe, in the Boston arena, which are there specifically to look for investing and acquiring and partnering with companies. So it's no surprise to see that happening. Enel bought Enel, NG bought Green Charge and GenBright. So that's the kind of thing that supports this as well.
Excellent. Those would be the M&As that you see in this chart. Right. Thank you. The next chart I wanted to show you here is an additional piece that we did on patents. So these are the number of US patent applications by each company in each sector. So these are classified by the companies that make the patents rather than by the technology of the patent itself. There's a little fine distinction there. Again, the last few years, there's always a delay in patent applications and in patent approvals and all that. So there's probably a decline there. But the growth here is actually continued. I mean, and what you do see at the very top, and I'll show you that in a minute, those are transportation patents, and in the middle, in the light blue, is the energy distribution and storage, battery technology, etc. And I think we see a steady innovation pace. So patents basically are a sign of invention and a sign of innovation in that sense. Does this sound right to you, Alistair? That there is this sort of fervent of new technology that continues to be?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because I think we have a wealth of universities and also sort of corporate refugees going off and inventing things. And I'm just surprised at some of the detail, like, the amount of transportation in there. I know we'll see more about that in a minute. But if you think of the distribution and storage, I mean, I think there's a lot going on. Remember, A123 was a kind of story in Boston, and then it sprang lots of sort of children, if you like, after that. There's lots of kind of more going on in that arena. So yeah, it definitely supports it.
So you just highlighted the transportation section. Let me show you in fact, I'm going to show you two slides now, which are way too much for me to show because you're going to start reading the letters on it. The students out there, look at the companies. They're in the report, obviously. These are all growth companies. But what I want to show you is that the top 5% in each sector accounts for the bulk of funding. This is funding, so we're not talking patents here. And in the case of agriculture, Indigo and Ginkgo Bioworks are by far the two largest there, but so are some of the other ones. But in each case, you see, even though we have a broad distribution of sectors, you could say that each sector depends on a few big players and many smaller ones. It's a very skewed distribution in terms of the company funding. And the same thing also, now I just flipped it to company patenting, and you see the same kind of pattern again of many companies, but really a few that dominate the total patents. And transportation, you see here, Whitricity is the one that basically has a lot of patents in here and is accounting for a very large share of the transportation patents. So Alistair, without getting into the names here, does this skewness of sort of a few large companies in every sector surprise you?
So I sort of guess I was never aware of it, so it surprises me to that extent. But then when you start to think about it, it's fairly rational. I mean, I think investors want to spread out their portfolio at the early stage, but over time, winners will emerge. And I think, more and more investors will flock to the sort of the market leader. And I think that's what you see here. But it'd be a good thing to study to see if my theory is correct. So
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, as usual, any study will produce more questions than sometimes it answers. So we've already generated some of those. The last thing I want to show you in this segment before we go to the leaders and the diversity there is what I call a blink visualization. Okay? This is not something we teach at Bralex, but we figured it out here. This is the same chart I showed you before, which tells you the number of companies in each sector. And now I'm going to very blink and show you the amount of funding in each sector. So take a good look at this block. And this is the funding. Mm-hmm. So back and forth between the number of companies and the funding, you see in this case, the two large ones are Indigo AG and Ginkgo Bioworks that have almost $2.5 billion together in the agriculture space, the green space there.
So that's a big surprise to me because I just wasn't looking there.
You weren't looking for that.
One of our board members, Amy Dufour from Prime, talked recently on the Energy Gang podcast and mentioned just the size of the ag market and the importance of it because there's so many emissions. So then I hear that and it's like, oh, okay, maybe that justifies it.
So that's the size on the funding side. And now I'm going to flip this blink a little bit further and show you patents. And then that is this. So on the patent side, you see the transportation as well as energy distribution and storage. So this light blue middle column is strong in every one of these views. So in a way, the original clean energy core, is strong both in funding and in patents and in the number of companies. But we do see a diversity in the kinds of companies that shine, depending on the lens. I'll show you that here just side by side. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, these three pictures may be worth 3,000 words. I won't say them all, but they're here. I should say they're in the report. And in the interest of time, let me move on to the next segment. But certainly, there's more that one can do and think about in terms of these distant distributions. All right. So the next segment is really, I think, something, again, relatively new. I don't think we have seen data quite like this before. I'm not sure that it's totally surprising, but it is a baseline in something that we all want to see change and improve in terms of the balance of who's involved. So we looked at gender diversity. The database that we have classifies male and female. And we looked at ethnic diversity. And for that, we used a name sorting program, which is used by many academics. And then we also did that by hand, looking at people's backgrounds and attempting to assign an ethnic group to them. And then we have some data on education, which is not that complete, but at least it shows you an indication. So the gender diversity, basically the whole database. So we're talking now about, basically we have 200 plus companies for which we have leadership information. And about a sixth of that are women, which is obviously low and much lower than it should be in terms of the population averages, of course. At the same time, when you look at this over time, there's an improvement, and it is maybe as high as a quarter in the last sort of 5-year period. We broke this up into different periods to see the trend over time. Alistair, is this again a surprise, or what is your read of this situation?
So it sort of backs up kind of what we see in our accelerator. where the Cleantech Open Right has about 40 teams go through it a year. So we have over the last 16 years, over 400 plus companies. But in the last few years, we've seen more female leaders, more female entrepreneurs lead teams, lead startups, which is great, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a bit of a shout out to Beth Sonis and her team. What they've done is really created a really welcoming atmosphere with lots of mentors who are also women, which I think encourages people to jump in. The second thing I'd say is that when I studied engineering 40 odd years ago, there were probably 95% men. But over time, I think because people realize they can make an impact with this type of work, you're seeing more women enter the field. So there's a couple of things going on there, but we want to encourage more, of course.
We want to go, definitely the case. And the other aspect of the leadership is ethnic groups. And here, as I said, a methodology is described very carefully in the report itself. East Asian, South Asian, Black, Hispanic, and white female and male is what you see here in the gray bars. And again, this is a low number compared to the representation of these groups in the population, or in a way, it's not really yet everybody's business. When you look at it over time, there is, again, I think, a gradual improvement. It's hard to benchmark this to say that it's fast or slow, but it is a gradual improvement in that diversity of the leadership, which includes founders as well as top management. Alistair, is that again?
Yeah, again, we see the same trend, but it's something we're working really hard on to improve and reach out to new networks. So anyone wants to help with that, we'd welcome that. But we want to really welcome everyone. And as you started the conversation, right? Clean energy has to be everyone's business, and we want everyone to be involved. And I think the more different ideas from different types of people, the better we're able to fight climate change. So let's keep this trend going.
Yeah, so I can tell already in the audience, there are probably more questions bubbling up than they have an outlet to express. And what I'll say there is that there is a follow-up session after this, not just right now, after our whole, after 11:30, there'll be a 15-minute break, and then there's an 11:45 open session. And I think the link has been put up in the chat. That you're welcome to join us for that open session, where we will have a Zoom meeting where everybody can be seeing each other, and we will have, I hope, a vigorous conversation about the data in the report. So I welcome you all to do that. Finally, the last thing is, well, you can't be in a university without trying to figure out what other universities are doing. So we had to tally this up. And it's not surprising, MIT is a fountain of engineering wisdom. At the same time, there are many other schools that are involved in one way or the other. The bold ones are the ones that you might call in the Northeast itself. So, my reading of this is that there is a strong intellectual base. At the same time, you might say these are all elite universities. And there may be something there in terms of who gets funding. But at the same time, there's a strong intellectual base in the area, which when paired with stronger finance and a stronger policy framework, will bode well, I think, for this ecosystem to continue to grow and to flourish even more than it has in the past. Alistair, in the interest of time, I'll just ask you for some closing thoughts on this, the university as well as the whole effort that we've done.
Well, it's good to see Brandeis up there and on the leaderboard. But yeah, I mean, I think that those, you mentioned those three components, which are what you need, the essential ingredients for a successful cluster, and that's what we've got in the region. But I think what you've done is really, as I said at the beginning, opened up a whole new way of looking at this, which has prompted all sorts of thoughts in my mind. But I'm really encouraged by what you've uncovered there, both in terms of the sectors and this great trend of increasing diversity in the business. And we want to encourage more.
Thank you.
So thank you for the opportunity to partner, and look forward to
it's been great. I mean, the NECEC as well as Beth Jonas at the CTO have really been great partners in, as well as Mitch Tyson, who is an advisor to the Asper Center and well known in the climate tech community around here. So again, a great shout out and thank to these tremendous students who helped on this. If you're out there looking to hire, I recommend every single one of these as really a lucky hire if you can get them. So we will move on to the next segment. So first, we thank you for this, Alistair. Thank you very much for your involvement in this and for helping us present this in a lively way.
Thanks, Ben.
All right.